We're live.
Thank you. At 7:05, we'll go ahead and call to the April 3rd meeting of the Weld RE5J Board of Education to order. If you take a moment. Where's it at? Oh, good. Bryson, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Diagana, would you please call roll?
Mike Johnson. Here. Amanda Foster.
Here.
Nate Fasano. Here. Amy Muskie. Here. Michael Williams.
Here. We need to approve this evening's agenda, but we do need to amend it. We need to remove item 8B. I'd motion that we remove item 8B.
Second.
A motion myself, a second by Vice President Sassano. Any discussion? Hearing none in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, now we need to the agenda.
I'll motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Proctor, a second by Vice President Sassano to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
We have an agenda. Do we have any comments on agenda items?
No, sir.
All right. We'll move on to our staff and student celebrations and recognitions. Superintendent Nielsen, would you please start us?
Vice President Wales and board of directors or board members. It's a great, another great board meeting, I think, for us as a district. As you can see in front of us tonight, we moved our board meeting here so we could celebrate lots of successes that we have going on in our Johnstown Milliken School District. I want to start tonight, though, to talk about some things going on academically briefly. And I just want to call out, I think this board has set forward some ideas, some practices that you want to see alive in our district as we prepare our young students to move through our district, but also prepare them for life after 5J. And I just want to speak to some projects that are going on currently at Pioneer Ridge in 5th grade. And then we have all our 5th graders are in projects on how to improve the community. And I had a chance the other night to go to the Johnstown board meeting and town board meeting. And we 5th graders there that night that their project was to illuminate and thank the town for offering bags for dog do, for lack of a better way to say it, right? But as they researched it, they recognized that the bags were using as a town biodegradable. So they had researched how the town could use different baggies that are biodegradable and actually save money. And so the two individuals had a chance to speak to the mayor and the town manager and the board. And ultimately that meeting ended with the town manager saying that's a modification that the town can make. And I think it just, it exemplifies what actions you're asking us to take as a school district to make our world a little better. Right or wrong around it. We had 5th graders that walked into a town meeting and walked out having asked for something to change that could be different for the community, but also save us money. I think both those two are pretty practical, and that's truly 5th graders in a project with an authentic audience. And so when I think about the work we're trying to do, I think that exemplifies it. And there's a whole plethora of 5th graders at Pioneer Ridge right now doing projects much like that, whether they're trying to think about how do we clean up the park, or others that are doing the same kind of work. And I just happened to see those young men at at the meeting the other night and wanted to share that with you. I also want to just share that MES has had an opportunity to enhance what they offer over the last several years with a 21st century grant that allows us to do some before and after school tutoring, but also allows for some programming. And they found out today, I believe, that they have been awarded another $3,000 for that to continue. So I think another celebration, support for just work going on in this district that I think enhances some of what you've asked us to do as staff. So there's a couple things, and I'd be remiss if I want to get to all the reason we have so many individuals with us tonight, and 4 different groups we have here to celebrate this evening. I'd like to start with a group that I think sat in this audience, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago when we talked about approving a girls wrestling team here at Roosevelt High School. Several of the young ladies were here that night and they're back tonight. And we want to honor them for winning I believe the regional wrestling tournament and representing this community at the state tournament. And so I would love to call up Coach Nunley, if you'd be willing to come up, talk a little bit about the season and the impact these girls have had on wrestling at the middle school, but maybe also your excitement about what happens as they move through our system and build the wrestling program here at Roosevelt. And then when you're done, what we'd ask, and you'll model this tonight, ladies, is we'd ask for each of you to come up to share with everybody your name, your grade, how excited you are about what's in front of you, and then have something to honor. We'd love for you to share with us how you did at the state tournament, right? So everybody gets a chance to celebrate that. And then the board has something they would like to give you as a motto of coming and being celebrated by them as you walk through our line. We'll ask the board to come front and shake each of your hand as we do that too. But we'll start with Coach. If you'd come up maybe here and talk to the whole group about the excitement you have in the work you're doing.
Extremely excited about women's wrestling in Colorado. My assistant coach, right-hand man, just other coach, not really assistant coach, George Garcia is also here. And what a lot of you don't know is a lot of the great ideas are his ideas that are just too good for me to turn down. It just requires a lot of work. He's coming up with things I can't turn down that I have to do. But it's an honor to represent these young ladies. We've had somewhere between 4 and 8 female wrestlers every year that I've been at Milliken Middle School. This is my 5th year. Several of those were also at the meeting this year. But these girls are amazing. And don't worry, you've been in front of gyms, wrestling boys in singlets. I think you can get her talk, you'll be okay. But women's wrestling is the fastest growing sport in America. It is the fastest growing collegiate sport. There's been more women's college programs added in Colorado than all sports programs probably combined in the last few years. So to see us, several our former wrestlers, our former Mustangs have wrestled Berthoud last year, which was awesome. And I appreciate Berthoud giving them that opportunity, but now getting to see them wear the R on their chest, I'm excited to see how many more females will have come out from middle school now that they have a home to go to. Right? We've been able to get 4 to 8 with them not knowing where or if they're going to be able to wrestle in high school, but now being able to represent their high school, their community. I'm excited to see what 3 of these ladies will be at the high school next year. Another one, I get to hold on to her for more, so y'all can have her when I'm done. But throwing the sport, giving these women a chance to compete. This year was the first year the company that runs the middle school state tournament offered a girls tournament. They killed it with only 4 girls out of, I think, 16 weight classes. They won the region and then also competed very well. They may not know the final team placing. I think at 60-something middle school, we finished 11th in the state. So pretty respectable for having a small team compared to some of the others. So they did a great job.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You want to all come up together and then you can decide who's going to go first as you get up here?
That's still you, Sarah.
Okay. My name is Sarah Cody.
Tell us how you did in state tournament.
I got out of okay. I got fifth in the kind of weight bracket.
And how excited are you about the opportunity to keep wrestling? And I would say might ride for our brand, right? How excited are you to?
I'm very excited to be able to wrestle for Roosevelt Roosevelt High School.
And Roosevelt Middle. Let's give Sarah a hand.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Layla Bernard, and I got fifth in state at the 88 weight bracket.
And how about you? How excited are you? What do you see ahead of you?
I'm trying to get into the girls wrestling in school, and I hope it can open more opportunities for me. I'm Peyton Walker. I didn't do so well at state. Well,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I lost my match to go into a placing match, so I didn't make it into placing. But I'm very, very excited to wrestle for IHS. Something I've always wanted to do. So I'm very excited I can explore that.
My name is Elizabeth Lundy, and I got fourth in the state at the 145-pound weight bracket. And I'm excited to wrestle for RHS. I don't know, just because it'll give me more opportunity.
Getting our exercise in.
Yeah, up, down, up, down.
All right, our second group tonight is a group that's been a part of Roosevelt for a long time. We had some wrestlers from our wrestling team that's currently in place here. Coach Montoya, are you ready to come up and talk to the group about your season and how your group did, and then we'll bring them up just like we did our young wrestlers.
My name is Brandon Montoya, if you don't know me. So we had 4 wrestlers go to state this year. And it was, I would say, as a whole, different from what it was in years past, but the 4 that we brought were all wrestlers that were going to do something. And even though we only brought the 4, there were other rep partners and people behind them that helped give those 4 studs, if you want to give them a name, 4 studs that got us there, okay? So kind of their 4 placements also acknowledge those workout partners in the wrestling room. Because that kind of the sport like wrestling, is that iron sharpens iron, so going in the battle to get to that point, to make it to that tournament is not only the 4 that, represented this school and city, but those, behind that were making them get there. But I was extremely proud of the 4 that went, all 4 of them podium. We had 2 in the finals. In all matches, came down, to final seconds, just 1 matches, 2-point matches, some calls that could have went either way. And just, small judgment call, that came down to second, that decided the match. And just kind of our caliber and the things that they have done and got, and those that they've wrestled, at the state tournament, extremely proud of them. I know we're still pretty young. We only had a couple seniors, we had a few juniors, so we still have a lot of reloading to do, and just excited for the next couple of years, as we grow and improve and just get better, it's going to be a fun next few years. So extremely proud of them and happy for the 4 that applied for state as well as all of them placed. So it's fun.
All right, wrestlers, come on up. All right, you've seen the model now. You ready to go?
Yeah. I'm Chris Wolf, and I got second. And overall, I guess I'm just excited for the opportunity to go to college.
What's the plan for next year?
Win it.
Short.
I'm Michael Garcia. I got fifth at state, and I guess I'm just excited to see like what the future holds for me, like having more experience at the state tournament and stuff like that.
Our next group we'd like to celebrate is what I like to refer to as academic competition, right? Coach Summers, will you come up and we're gonna recognize a group for health. You're gonna have to walk.
You got it. Yeah, that's all good. I'm Kayla Summers. This is we do HOSA here. It's a CTSO. It's a student organization for our health sciences program, our CTE health science program here. You've probably heard of like FLA or FFA, FCCLA. Those are all student organization different. Ours is called HOSA. Stands for Health Occupation Students of America. Basically, these are our future doctors and nurses and physical therapists, athletic trainers, our future healthcare professionals. So it's really exciting to be able to work with students that have such high ambitions, that are so motivated, that love to come to school, I think, for the most part, and just really excel, not only academically, but are just wonderful human beings, and it's really just a joy to work with them. So we took 41 students to state this year. It was our second year. Last year, our first year, we took 11 to state, so a huge increase in our numbers. We have some seniors, but we are mostly juniors, a couple of freshmen and sophomores sprinkled in as well. So we have a lot of potential in our future. Personally, just very proud of this group and all of HOSA. I've been able to have these students in my classes, some of them for the past 3 years. So personally invested in these students' futures, and just spending much time with them is really a great honor for us. So we went to state in February, and we had, I think it's like 13 students place in 16 different events, top 10. We are a small district compared to the other districts that compete there, and just talking to other sponsors, other advisors from other districts, like, whoa, you guys really kick butt. So it was really wonderful, and I want to thank our parents who are here tonight too, because we know our students are driven by you, and we appreciate your support and your love of your students and letting us spend time with them and trusting us with them. So I'll let them about their competitions, but thank you.
Thank you. All right, our host of participants, come on up. No pressure. All right, for each of you, it would be awesome for you to talk about how you did, but also let us know a little bit about your, I'm going to say your sport, your what you competed in, and tell us what you did, okay?
All right, ask the hard questions to this one. My name is Kaylee Johnson. I'm a senior at Roosevelt. I placed first in nursing assisting at state. I did 2 rounds. One of them was a test, and then the other one was a physical exam where you had to perform your skill. And yeah, it was a ton of fun and super, super stressful. Thank you.
Oh. I'm gonna just give you a high five. Thank you. A weak hug.
I'm Caitlin Atkins. I'm a junior, and I placed first in home health aid and then top 10 in physiology. So I took a test for physiology, and then I took a test for home health aid, and then perform a skill exam. So yeah, it was fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got a problem with my elbow.
I competed in sports medicine and then I got sixth. And the first round was the test, and then the second round I had to do shoulder wrap. And yeah, that's it. I'm Olivia Jordan. I was fourth in medical assisting and third in dental terminology. So dental terminology was a test, and then the MA, it was a test, and then I went to the second round and did a physical exam.
Hi, my name is Ayla. I competed in sports medicine and nutrition. I placed first in sports medicine and fifth in nutrition. For both of them, I had to take a written test, and then for sports medicine, I had to do a skills assessment.
My name is Lisa Molina. I'm a junior and I competed in veterinary science. So first I had to take a written test, and then I competed in a skill, and that was to prepare a feline to obtain the temperatures. And I placed 7th. My name is Miley today. I've competed in clinical specialty and health career display. In clinical specialty, I got 2nd, and in health career display, I got 5th. For the specialty, what it entailed was a 10-page research document, a skill video, me doing a certain task for a chosen career of choice, and then I had to do a speech in front of it about my experience. And then for a health career display, we had a poster board about a specific career in healthcare, and then also performed a speech about how that impacts other careers and what its place is in the healthcare field.
My name is Keenan Paul. I'm Paige Bentley. We did a team activity at health career display. We got 5th place, and basically what it entailed is how we made a career display of the chemist job. So we researched chemistry and mainly the disorganizing chemists in the world and even the history of it, all the components that build up the job. And then after that, we did a speech just explaining our poster board and stuff and like why we did what we did. Did you see what we put? We did.
Thank you.
My name is Tanner Parham, and I'm a junior, and I placed 6th in a research poster, and I made a research poster and presented it on why all staff should be CPR certified in school districts.
Just listening to that, the academic competitions for me, right, you can see bigger in what we just heard. So that's exciting. I also, if I went full circle to what I was talking about early around authentic audiences and authentic projects, what I think we just heard, the young ladies that were talking about the competition they just participated in, that's pretty authentic work that they're engaged in too. So really appreciate the work you're doing to represent this building. And Coach, you're exactly right. When you think about who we're going up against and what they're bringing and how many people they're choosing from, what you're doing is awesome. So thanks for the work that you're allowing us to be a part of in this district. It's pretty cool. The last, let's give them. The last group tonight that we want to celebrate is an interesting one for me. I'd like to call our AD, Chad Walker, up to talk about this team a little bit because Coach Enoch couldn't be here tonight. But I just want to say from my perspective, I've now been on some level a part of this district for about a year. I didn't start until July. When I was going through the interview process last year, the only team that I've watched compete at the state tournament is our girls basketball team, because it so happened last year during the process, I happened to be down there and was able to watch them compete last year. I got to see, one, how they competed, but also how this town showed up to support, and the community support for our team was awesome down there. I got to watch it, and then to be a part of it this year has been pretty exciting. But I want to call attention to and celebrate our back-to-back champions girls basketball team. That doesn't happen often. It's hard to win a state championship, let alone go back-to-back. So, ladies, I just want to honor, as a former basketball coach, the work I watched you do, some of the ups and downs, and how you persevered, even in the final game. So kudos to you. We'd love to celebrate you tonight, and I'll turn it over to your AD.
Well, I finally talked about these guys. These girls, it was almost identical season. The weird thing about it. Last year they lost to River the last season, or the last game of the regular season, and then they were a completely different team in the state tournament. This year they lost to Riverdale the last regular season game, and they go in and pretty much dominated the tournament. They're a fun group to watch. It's fun as an AD because I get a lot of, kudos, and I can't believe how good they are defensively. That's all, Chad talks about with this group is defensively, all the chaos that they cause on the court. And then when they play together as a team, how unstoppable they really are. This year they had a little bit of a challenge in a North team that came back and made the game closer than it should have been, in my opinion. And I'm sure they will agree with you. But, they withstood it and then went on a run of their own and closed out the game. It's fun to watch them because, what was it? 3 years ago, I kind of put them through the ringer a little on my end, and to see what they've been able to accomplish since then it's pretty great. First, I'm going to introduce Coach Rick Lahr to come up here with me. And Rick puts them through the ringer. These girls can tell you about it. Their workouts they go through with him, the off-season stuff. It's fun to walk and see coaches putting cones on the ground and making them go through all kinds of agility drills. So it's good to see them sweat in the off-season. But big congratulations to these ladies. Proud of you guys, proud of everybody in here. And even you middle schoolers, I can't wait to see you guys at school as well. So congratulations, girls basketball.
If you come up, talk about what grade you are at Roosevelt right now and what your plans are if you're a senior for next year. And if you're not a senior, talk about your plans for the 3P.
My name is Bryn Price, a senior, and next year I'll be going to Colorado Mesa to study nursing. My name is Paolo Lawyer. I'm a sophomore, and I'm excited to get another state championship next year. My name is Brooklyn Meza. I'm going to be playing basketball next year. My name is Ryan Baldwin Price. I'm a year, and yeah, I'm just excited to have some women in the team next year, and the girls will do well. It's gonna be a good year, and hopefully go three times.
I'm Kimby Shapiro. I'm a senior. I'll be playing that for next year.
My name's Peyton, I'm a junior. I'm just excited to see like what next year brings, and yeah.
I'm Kiana Castillo. I'm a junior, and I can't wait for next year what it has to bring for us.
Excited to play next year again and keep moving. I'm Madison Page, I'm a freshman, and I'm excited to see what will happen in the next 2 years.
Just real quick, just want to say they picked the worst person to be up here. Out of all the coaches that all left with public speaking, I'm probably the worst at it. But that's all I do is yell, and so it makes it go. But when you look at what these girls accomplished, I've never been blessed with anything better. And when I was asked to come over here and help coach this team, I was sitting there going, oh man, all I did was boys for the longest time, and it was just like I don't even think I could get with these girls, but they turned me into something that's a lot better. And it's really important they stick together just like they do. And I was really impressed with how they took this season and how they took it out of everybody and never gave. I just want to say that. Thank you.
You know, I think we heard from one of our basketball players, right, is continue the winning tradition we've built in the last 3 years. And when you think about what we just celebrated right now tonight, 4 different areas, and it is about extra. It's about setting a high bar and getting after it. And one of the things I really have appreciated about the move to this district and the challenge the board has set forth for us is that, right, is allowing opportunities for students to belong, to find a passion area, and then get after it. And this school and this district is doing that really well right now. And I look forward to continuing to expand the opportunities for students to get after it and for more nights like this where we're celebrating lots and lots of success. So for all of you that were up here tonight, thank you for what you're doing to push yourselves, to continue to challenge, but also to make us better. And I look forward to, just like we said here, let's continue to see what we can do. How much can we achieve? That's exciting, and you all make it possible. So thank you, parents, thank students, and thanks for taking the time to be here tonight.
All right, any other celebrations?
After all that.
I mean, there could be some that slipped through. Hearing none, we'll move on to, unless you guys don't want to, we can allow you the opportunity to walk away.
Should we take a minute?
You know what
I know one of them got first. Hold on. I know one got first, and I think the other ones. Wait, no, I have the list. Yeah, she hated her mom during graduation. Sorry. First, 8. Nice to meet you. 4.
There you go.
Perfect.
Don't keep them.
Good job looking out for friends.
I'm not.
That's
This
good.
was just fun in general. I like it when the majority is celebratory. It's fun.
It is.
No, it's-
I'm glad.
Jacob's still here.
Jacob and Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Jacob just wants a signature.
He just wants monies. That's fair.
All right, we'll move on to reports and comments from board members.
Well, I will just go really quick. I'll start off. I was not able to be here at the last board meeting, but I just wanted to pay tribute to our Club Interact. I was able to go and celebrate their 10th anniversary, which it's almost like HOSA. It started out so small and it's just grown and grown and grown. So I just really wanted to give them the anniversary shout out for all the good that they've done. The other thing that I would like to report is we have been able to welcome in professionally at the library some of our elementary schools to celebrate Literacy Night. So it was so fun to have Mill Elementary in the building. We loved having them. They had fabulous parent and teacher involvement with that activity. We're going to welcome Pioneer Ridge this coming month too. We'd love to have all the schools in, so please reach out to us. And then the last thing I wanted to mention too was all of the elementary schools have been invited to participate in a district-wide art show. And that will be also hosted at the public library for the month of April. I think displays will go up on April 8th. They'll be ready to view on April 9th. And it is a beautiful thing. These kids bring all their talents, they display their art, and we have it from the preschool level all the way up to our 5th graders. So if anyone has a chance to come see it, it's a really good. So I'll just be really fast and I'll end with that.
Hey, how do you spell literacy?
I'll text you.
Thank you, Monica. Any others?
No report or comment. Well, no report, but to comment real quick, just how cool that is to see what we do up here end up in the celebration for those kids. What you guys do in your jobs is really cool. It makes it worth it. I'm going to do that at the beginning of our meetings because it lets us remember what we're doing in these sometimes long and sometimes boring meetings. So that's cool.
The only thing I have, since we met last, we attended the Team Character Banquet Awards, which was held in this building, and it was much like tonight, just a lot of celebration for some kids who were doing some really awesome things. So, all right, we will move on to the report from the superintendent's office.
I'll be relatively quick. Also, I did call out, because I think this is something the board has set up for us, right, is that partnership, I'd say, in that case for the awards night with Rotary, was this building being used the way it was designed, and providing an opportunity for community to come into the building, for our students to provide flowers, our students to work on food. I think there's learning we can do, and we can continue to do it better as we support the learning of our students. But when you think about the part they played in it, not just getting the awards, but creating the behind the scenes, that is largely because of the power plant, or the plant we've created in this district. So, and the board that helped put that in place had a lot to do with that. So I just want to call out, because I think those additional moves are allowing some of what we saw tonight and that awards to happen. You create energy, and then energy sustains itself, and that's what you're starting to see, and that's pretty neat. The second thing I just want to share with the board is Assistant Superintendent Kramer and I, as we continue to think about the move we're planning at MES, had a chance to go over to Windsor and to talk to the principal at Tozer and the principal from Mountain View Elementary, who happen to be elementary schools in their backyard, so they're right across the playground, if you will, from each other. But they've been operating in the model we're going to do, looking for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, a long, long time. And these two principals have a ton of experience, and it was interesting to get to know them. They have a ton of experience in each other's buildings. So they talk to us about things to think about and pitfalls and how we might find successes, but also I think, and both of them I think said they wouldn't go back. They wouldn't look at a different model because they're so interested in the model that they have. But I think it was very fruitful meeting for both Tammy and I as we prepare for our first meeting with Milliken Elementary teachers, which I think is in a week and a half. And we've got people on the books right now where we can talk about from the teacher's perspective, what are things we need to think about? How can they help us think through pitfalls? How can they help us think about things that we need to make sure we process? So we'll start that process in earnest with them soon. And I just want to let this group know, I think we're a week away from postcards being in mailboxes. They're about a week away from postcards actually in mailboxes. So that you know that's been a much longer process than I would have expected when I first talked about it. So I just want to make sure you know that. I think for me, that's a good place to stop tonight.
Any questions for Superintendent Nielsen?
Those postcards going to MES families, or are they going to the community?
Milliken community.
And as a whole, not just MES families?
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
Any others?
With the MES stuff, do you have an outreach plan? I know we have talking points as a board, but are you prepared to field questions from non-teacher groups that you're already kind of entrenched with?
Yeah, and I think some of the work ahead of us will be with the group that just got seated last night from the town, right, is to have conversations with town and openly I'd like for us to think about as a board with both the Johnstown board and the Milliken board to do some of that work as an elected group. But yes, we're in a position, I think we'll probably get through the end of the year before we start thinking formally listening sessions with the community. But that's a necessary part of it, right, is when we have thought through, have more of the questions answered that we think the teachers will help us unpack, and doing listening with the community will be a positive step for us going forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Our adopted rules of parliamentary procedure provide for a consent agenda listing several items for approval of the board by motion. Most of the items listed under the consent agenda have gone through board review and recommendation. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member. Otherwise, an entertaining motion.
Can we remove the construction one to talk about it? I'm sure Nate may have been thinking the same thing, but I think it deserves to talk out.
Item C?
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't do this, does it?
No.
Just because we want to do it? Okay.
But we will need a motion for the remaining items.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda item A and item B as presented.
I have a motion by Director Johnson, a second by Vice President Sassano to approve items A and B of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, Jessica, would you please poll the board?
Monica Johnson?
Yes.
Amanda Proctor?
Yes.
Nate Sassano?
Yes.
Amy Musgrave? Yes. Mike Colville?
Yes. All right. Amendment C is the amendment number 7 for Milliken Elementary School. Does anybody on our staff have anything they could add to this, or? Okay.
Just an overview, or?
Sure. Do you want to come up closer to the, so you're on the, we get you on the microphone?
So Amendment 7 for Milliken Elementary is, most of these are, well, let me just start top, go to the bottom. First three are betterments that were discussed with the principal and the directors at the OAC meeting. So the cafeteria flooring was in dire need of replacement. And then the soffit panels on the exterior were this old weathered wall that has been painted and was just falling apart and did not look great. We had already replaced the fascia, then to have the soffit that looked old and decrepit is not a great look. So replacing that with metal soffit to just not even worry about touching anything, just encase it, make it look really nice, like the school now does. So third item, 84.01, irrigated seed. The original plan was gravel. However, after talking with the town of Johnstown, that becomes a stormwater nightmare getting into the gutter at the street. So that was an item to rectify that, get irrigation in there.
The town of Milliken, right?
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Provide cabling for 3 cameras. That was an request by Bryson, the technology director here at the district. So that was deemed needed by him for security purposes. Soffit covers, those were, there's old light fixtures that were larger. The ones that replaced them were smaller. So left a gap around those. That was just a custom fit metal to hide that gap. That was all. The 2 credits are just 2 small portions of landscaping that didn't get done, which was just the mulch beds. And then there was some exterior playground stools that had a lot of issues getting procured. And Jen, the bull at the end of the day, said, we don't really need these. We're done, we're open, and let's just take credit and move on. So, revised roofing, additional patching. That one I fought long and hard for to get lowered. It was at $4,000. The roofer was not communicative, and while it was a necessary item to take care of as they uncovered roofing and did certain patching items, there was a lot uncovered that needed to be repaired. However, due to their lack of communication, I fought and pushed back and said no. So we did identify the items that they actually had communicated. So we are, that's something we have to take on the cost for. The rest I pushed back and got those removed. Kitchen door hardware, that was more that exterior door coming into the kitchen, so where they come in with food service. That was to replace that and make it more secure. Add card reader, office door. That was pre-wired, but was not shown on the plans to be done, and that was another one where Bryson took the lead and said this is worthwhile to have for security purposes. The generator costs over Thanksgiving break, that was just transfer. Excel Energy had to come in and set a new transformer, so we had to pay for power during that time. Add exterior security light, that was backed by the food service area again. There's no light in that corner of the building, but for security purposes, it was deemed that. Art room, plumbing line reattached, that was fortunately just an uncovered item that we found a drain line that was not connected to anything, it was just going right into the dirt, old construction. So that was just something that had to be taken care of. And then lastly, the adding 2 speakers, that was just a design miss, unfortunately, as those things do. But it was requested by Jen, the principal, to get those 2 added.
Okay.
So.
Any specific questions?
Yeah, question is more of, I read the little description and board agenda about the BEST grant program not approving certain things, and that's why we have to increase our GMP with these betterments to get the betterments approved by BEST grant. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's one of those where, and BEST has been somewhat difficult as of late. They had also pushed back at the middle school conversion project and had said, these certain things would not be covered, and our team found verbiage that supported the betterments that we were going for. They're pushing back on, and it seemed pretty verbatim. So it was a little surprising to us that they were even pushing back at all. So I think they're just scrutinizing as much as they possibly can. And unfortunately on this one, the way the grant was written, the design costs, they would not accept as reimbursed through BEST.
So does the net dollar amount, Michael, being what BEST did and did not approve, is the net dollar amount the same? Or are we expending more funds than we thought we would? For what BEST is not reimbursing, and then for these betterments, is the dollar amount still, does it net out, or are we spending more money?
For what BEST doesn't, isn't a part of the BEST reimbursement, that means that we lose the BEST reimbursement for the MES BEST project. It's close to a 50-50 split. It's not exactly that, but we, if BEST doesn't approve something, then instead of us getting reimbursement on the 50% or so that BEST would reimburse us for, then the district needs to pay that additional half. Is that what?
So the net dollar amounts were over what we thought. I'm just trying to understand better.
Essentially, at this point, if I can chime in, we've paid for the construction costs, and that's all encumbered and allocated and all okay. But because they hadn't accepted certain design costs, we have a remaining portion of that BEST grant that we're not utilizing, which is essentially free money for the district. So.
And we can utilize that in other projects?
Well, we can use it here because we had an add alternate list, which is just, they're called betterments, add alternates. It's things that, it's basically a wish list if we have the funds at the end of the day, because as you all know, we have contingency set aside for unknowns and unexpected things. So all in all, we're fine. It's just we have free money that the district could be utilizing on this project to further improve this school. And based on the running the numbers of the bond funds that we do have the funds to feel comfortable enough to move forward on those betterments, even though because the design costs were not reimbursed, that's a technical loss. But to utilize that BEST grant is, again, we would essentially get 2% match. So if we don't do it, that's fine. We can reallocate those funds elsewhere. However, that's six-figure numbers that we're losing out on. So
thank you.
So Jacob, I don't know if you've heard me ask a question, but I always ask this question. When you come to us with an amendment, it makes it sound like we're increasing the price, the overall price, by whatever number it is. Is the case this time? There's been one time where we actually did increase the price, but the 12,069,000, whatever it is, the same number that we had previously, right? As the GMP.
No. So this
should increase a little bit.
This actually is increasing, yeah.
By $40,000, $41,000.
Okay. So that is after utilizing contractor allowances and all of the contingency. This is where we're at with these three betterments that are on the top. And then we also have another list of betterments that we're getting finalized pricing on that would ask to move forward on as well. Again, just to take advantage of the existing BEST grant that we have that we can do something and get reimbursed for.
So this time we are increasing the overall price by about $40,000.
But again, the only reason we would be asking for this is because we have reviewed the financials and we do have the funds to continue to improve Milligan Elementary and take advantage of this BEST grant. So,
thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess my question would be, where will the BEST grant be utilized after this, since it's being essentially taken away from these items that you listed?
Those are being added.
These are being added, so they're not covering this. Did I get that right? Because from what I read in the board report, due to the wording, BEST grant was not going to cover these items that you just presented today. Is that correct?
No, I'm very for the confusion. BEST has not accepted design costs, so
okay.
That would be architect fees as well as owner representative fees. So that has already been throughout the project. So we have been paying those as normal through bond funds, but then those specific items, we've had to divvy those up and split them out. and reckon those as not getting reimbursed by that best grant. But that, again, because we didn't use those, now we have more best grant to use, and then we can use those for other items and improvements.
So instead of spending them on those design pieces,
Put it in another
we're
category.
spending them on those items.
And the
But it can stay in that project, so we can't take bus dollars from that project and like bring it into this building or any other building in the district. It has to remain with the scope project.
And because the list of ad alternates that was recognized and was documented, we have confirmed with Jay, who's the program manager at Best, that all those are okay. And actually this Best grant has quite a long open period. It's open till June of 25. So we have time for us whole entire summer to get all these betterments done.
You said you're bringing us another list of betterments after this?
Once we get finalized pricing.
How much money is left from this grant after we approve these?
After these, and this won't be exact.
It's okay. What's a ballpark?
We would be seeing about 300,000 approximately, give or take, and then again, we would be reimbursed about 150.
Okay, thank you.
Give or take.
All right, any other questions? Ms. Diagana, will you please pull the board?
We don't have a
I'm
motion
good
yet.
with both. I don't think you voted yet.
We haven't made a motion yet.
Oh, my mistake. Do we have a motion to approve item C,
Yep.
which is the amendment number 7 from Elk County School?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice President Sassano, second by Dr. Proctor. Any discussion?
Thank you for the explanation.
Hearing none.
Monica Johnson?
Yes.
Amanda Proctor?
Yes.
Nate Fasano?
Yes.
Amy Musgrave?
Yes.
Michael Little?
Yes. You have your paperwork with you? Stay there. Arthur.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will move on to new business. Our only item of new business is the custodial services discussion. Superintendent Nielsen or Mr. Everest, I don't know who wants to kick that off.
Well, I'll kick it off, and I guess what I would ask for us to do tonight is just think about, I think when we met, I guess it's a month ago now, we talked a little, we met with ABM, we had a chance to talk about some of the things that were in the district regarding their performance, some of which is coming through you, some of which is coming through staff. And having the conversation as a board to look at options that we might have going forward. And I guess what I would ask the board is if you're comfortable continuing the dialogue as we move into our next board meeting. So that my question on some level is, what's the preference of the board in terms of moving forward with our conversation and your understanding? What can we do to help with that? Do you want to dig into that a little more tonight?
You know, I would say from my perspective, I think right now, to me, it seems like a pretty heavy lift. And it feels like we're gonna get rushed to make a deadline. I know we have some other issues that we desperately need to address through work sessions and meetings before we get to the end of this school year. I would like to see us table this and have some deeper discussions. I still have a lot of questions about this idea. But those are my thoughts.
Yeah, after listening to the brief stuff that we talked about in the work session for a little bit, I think there definitely are more questions to discuss. Some of them are, I would like to talk a little bit more about prioritizing the wish list a little bit, because I feel like we might be undertaking the amount of equipment that it might take as well, and that's a concern of mine too, is like how much cleaning. I don't know how much equipment costs, right? I know like a carpet extruder costs like $800, but I'm kind of concerned about the equipment costs being, they feel low to me, and I want to make sure that we have contingency built into those costs as well. I want to be mindful of the onboarding, and I also want to be mindful when they come on that we have a plan that's specific to the uniqueness of those jobs. And I know you already have facilities people, but by uniqueness, they need different training than a teacher does, right? Like they need ladder safety and backlifting and eyeglasses and all those earplugs, and they just need different training. I want to make sure that we're thoughtful about that, because I think what would be unfortunate is if we do make the decision to terminate a contract and bring them in-house, it would be unfortunate to bring them into a situation where we're not prepared to fully serve them, because there's a lot of great things with them coming in, but I want to make sure that they feel supported and they're getting the training and advancement and the safety stuff that they need. I don't know exactly what ABM does or does not know, but I think that there's a little exploration for us to do on there. And that could be offset cost-wise with what our insurance company could provide. I know there's a lot of group government insurance companies that have training platforms that are free. They have facilitators to come in and teach for free, and I want to make sure we're also taking advantage of that to free up dollars for equipment. Or I know you probably have other ideas cooking with money to do that you would like next year as well. So I want to be mindful and thoughtful about the plan. But I'm still very interested in hearing more details about it and about what staff's the best idea for timing is, and that. So I'm definitely open to speaking more deeply in a work session. And I'm kind of would like to talk a little bit more to people who are current custodians of ABM a little bit to make sure that it's not just a problem that we're seeing, but maybe if they feel the same way. Anyways.
I'm with you guys. I think we definitely need some more discussion around this. At the same time, I don't want to rush into anything, but something's got to change. It's not where it needs to be. It makes a lot of sense to me to bring it in-house. There's a lot of work to do before we get there. And if we're going to do that, we need time to make sure that, have staff that want to make the transition. They have time to do that. If we don't have somebody to transition, we got to hire people. Like there's a lot of timing that needs to be taken into consideration. So while I don't want to rush into it, I certainly want to move as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I feel that same way.
If we can meet in a couple weeks to talk about it and start to make some decisions about it, I think that would be good.
Do we have the information from our current principals and assistant principals on their perspective of what Amanda referred to as a wish list, what they would like to see in custodial service, perhaps the needs that aren't being met? Is that information we could gather so that those items, if they're reasonable, which I'm sure they are, can be written into a potential contract? If that is the direction that the district goes, is that something we could do?
Yeah, we have some feedback from principals now, and I think as you listened to me earlier, some of what I talked about that I think a custodian could do was some of what they've shared, right? Is I think set up in a building is a deal. And when your custodians do it, you don't notice it. But when they don't, and you're trying to figure out who's doing this, right? It's more challenging. You think about our high schools and middle schools, they're setting up and tearing down things all the time, right? I mean, that's from games to concerts to whatever you name. And so that's some of what's there. I think we could probably gather some more feedback from them around what they would like. I think the wish list is exactly that. I think prioritizing that, we talked about that as a group. Those are things that are possible. And in the prioritization model, probably on some level, all of them are not 100% necessary. And there's probably a way to do some of what we talked about in the wish list on our side that could coincide with the contract with AVM going, and we build in some monitoring on with a staff member of ours that's on our facilities team that could pay attention and monitor. You heard, I think Ricky, when he was in front of us, talked about the ability to monitor what's happening on the ground, and having someone that is in that team that is doing that. Maybe that's a way we could ensure that things are getting better in the current contract where we pay attention. And but I think those are things we could bring to you in 2 weeks is what are the other options, and get deeper into the conversation about questions that you have. I think it is I've talked about with the board, right? I have strong beliefs about how we treat our employees. And I do think having a group of employees that are, in my mind, treated so differently is unfortunate for us. What the right answer is challenging because there's a price tag to it. So I think, I think that's something for us to wrestle with. What's the right direction, and how do we start to think about how do we start to attack the challenges?
When we met with ABM and we had the presentation, that was feedback. And I think I asked them, but I don't recall, who's that feedback from? The pictures and things that we saw in the presentation, was that various staff? Was that principals? Was that?
Most of the feedback that was in that presentation, the pictures there, came from administrators.
Okay.
So the written feedback that Assistant Kramer put together, that came from, we had parent feedback, there were parent emails, there have been staff emails, and we tried to pull in some of all of that. So,
okay. So we are, yeah, we've gotten quite a bit of feedback. I'm someone who thinks that throwing money at a problem, and I think this issue is a huge problem for our district, never fixes it. And so I would like some more time to go through what they're breaking down and how that extra money that they're proposing might help them fix this problem. Because I don't see, nothing like screamed at me today when I looked through that oh yeah, that would be super helpful in fixing an issue. So I think time, and then, so are we talking about having another work session with them or with us? With us.
I would
okay.
propose it's with us.
Okay, good, okay. And kind of break it down and get ready to move forward. Is that kind of what we're thinking? Okay.
Anything else? All right. No citizen comments on general topics? I didn't know if you got an email, right? Any other items deemed necessary by the board? I kind of got carried away with celebrations. Forgot to note that today is Para Appreciation Month. I know they're kind of low on the totem pole, but today's the day we honor them and celebrate them. So I think there was some stuff that went on in the building. So